starting lineup. Starting on the pole aboard car number 96 from Canton, Connecticut. In the kart track Chevrolet Cavalier, it's Kurt Brainerd.
And right alongside, driving car number 39. That's the 39 machine for Chris Jones out of New Milford, Connecticut in the Arbitel Racing Chevrolet.
To the inside of row number 2 sits car number 20 from Monterey, Massachusetts. In the Richard Chevrolet Monte Carlo, here's Sean Tryon.
And right next door, going from the 4th position, driving car number 44 out of Stafford, Connecticut, driving the Whisk Sport Chevrolet, it's Frank Wainwright.
Starting in the 5th position is one of the rookies, driving car number 90 from Somers, Connecticut. In the Cooker Construction Pontiac Sunbird, it's Todd Owen.
Going from the 6th position, he'll be wheeling car number 23 out of Monroe, Connecticut, driving the Global Aviation Resources Pontiac. Car number 23 for Larry Ross.
Car number 2 is next in the 7th starting position. From Stafford Springs, Connecticut, in the Arbitel Convenience Stores Dodge Intrepid, here's Willie Hardy Jr.
And starting 8th, driving car number 79 out of Needham, Massachusetts, driving the West Boylston Auto Parts Chevrolet, it's Kerry Malone.
Earth Technology Incorporated brings us the next car, a Pontiac Sunbird, car number 97, driven by Cheshire, Connecticut's Frank Rocco.
And rolling off from the 10th position, he'll be driving car number 29 out of Meriden, Connecticut, driving the Civali's Front Row Auto Repair Chevrolet, it's James Civali.
One of the rookie newcomers will be in the 11th starting position from Norwalk, Connecticut. In the Chandler Security System Chevrolet Monte Carlo, here's Ronnie Silk.
Starting 12th, driving car number 30 out of Southampton, Massachusetts, driving the Smith Cast Iron Boilers Pontiac, it's Johnny Lobo Jr.
The Bulldog is next in the 13th starting position. Car number 54 from Rocky Hill, Connecticut. In the North End Auto Parts Grand Prix, it's Eric Burt.
This next driver's off to a great 2003 season. Going from the 14th position, driving car number 57 out of Canton, Connecticut, driving the Downey Racing Chevrolet, it's Emil Downey II.
A second-generation driver will start in the 15th starting position from East Granby, Connecticut. In the Brightside Incorporated Monte Carlo, it's Jay Miller.
Starting 16th, he'll be driving car number 18 out of Enfield, Connecticut, driving the Cliff Nelson Motorsports ECI Chevrolet, it's Jeff Burrell.
This driver had a great run 2 weeks ago at car number 28 from Madison, Connecticut. In the M&D Racing Cavalier, it's Mike Holdridge.
He already has a win to his credit in 2003, going from the 18th position, driving car number 87 out of Ellington, Connecticut, driving the Scott's Electric Chevrolet, it's Scott Foster Jr.
Here's a man who has 2 feature wins to his credit, starting in the 19th position in the Automated Waste Disposal Cavalier, car number 13, driven by Ted Christopher.
And here's another driver that has picked up a win in 2003. Going from the 20th position, driving car number 9 out of Ellington, Connecticut, driving the reliable Weldon and Speed Pontiac, it's Brad Hytella.
Our next driver comes from South Windsor, Connecticut, aboard car number 27 in the Data Capture Solutions Dodge Stealth. It's John Sandberg.
Going from the 22nd position, it will be car number 22 out of New Milford, Connecticut, driving the Ferguson Pontiac entry. It's Lloyd Agor.
One of the veterans will start in the 23rd position from Springfield in the J.G. Pullen Drywall Grand Prix, Chuck Doherty.
And right alongside, driving car number 41. That's the 41 machine for Chris Gronowski out of Plainville, Connecticut, in the C&S Motorsports Chevrolet.
A newcomer to the SK Modifieds will start next in car number 56 from Charlton, Mass. Valley Motor Trail Sales providing the sponsorship for John Ledger.
Going from the 26th position, driving car number 45 out of East Hartland, Connecticut, the Bobcat of Connecticut Chevrolet, Jim Larsen.
Then we'll check out car number 99 from Revere, Massachusetts, in the Tony's Auto Body Cavalier, it's Kirk Zervis.
And going from the 28th position, driving car number 93 out of Danbury, Connecticut, driving the Lasco Roofing and Sheet Metal Chevrolet, it's George Bissett.
Then we'll check out car number 43. It will be Adam Norton, and Adam's sponsorship includes Custom Pallets Incorporated, and he is driving a Chevrolet Cavalier.
Also getting the start, he'll be starting from the 31st position, driving car number 6 Out of Manchester, Connecticut, the Gene Langan Volkswagen Chevrolet. Car number 6 for Chris Osella.
And scheduled to round out our field, car number 16, we have a driver change in that car. Car number 16 will be driven by the defending Stafford champion from Bethlehem, Connecticut, Bo Gunning.
So there is your starting lineup for tonight's SK Modified feature event. 50 laps is the scheduled distance. Matt, will we have a newcomer in victory lane tonight?
Well, we have a lot of drivers who are hungry, a lot of drivers who have been used to success. Willie Hardy, it's been more than a year since he's visited victory lane. Kerry Malone, he was shut out last year. You have guys like Ronnie Silk. Remember, he won the final event in 2002, the fall final. He is yet to visit the promised land this season. Could tonight be his night? A lot of fast company behind our pace setter, Kurt Brainerd, who's also trying to break out of a long slump. Could tonight be the magic night?
The green on the start, Kurt Brainerd and Chris Jones. Making up the front row, Sean Tryon and Frank Wainwright. Row number 2.
Kurt Brainerd will take him down. Whoa, we've got trouble already between 1 and 2. A car's turned around.
Willie Hardy, the Arbitel convenience store number 2, perhaps with some help initially on the start, goes spinning, but the leader still remains. The number 96 of Kurt Brainerd. Brainerd, who started at the point, being hunted down by Sean Tryon. And there's the battle going on for the 4th spot, as Wainwright works the outside of Todd Owen. Owen to the bottom. Todd Owen, the number 90 car, holding off the Wiss Tablets, number 44. And right there with him, the 28 of Joey Civali, who manages to run very strong in the outside lane.
You know, that number 90 car of Todd Owen a couple weeks ago had a big wreck. Well, his car owner, Brad Heitella, his wife just had a birthday, and they were picking on him because they had to spend the birthday working on the car. And his wife, Linda, said, "That's okay, I've been doing it this way for years."
Meanwhile, look at the battle. 5 cars contending for the 4th spot. Wainwright pulls out of line. Little chrome horn action to the back bumper of Chris Jones's race car. There's Frank Rocco in the blue number 97. Remember, he started back in 9th. He is among the top 7 cars and moving forward. Let's reset the field at the point. A brand new leader has emerged. Sean Tryon, the Tryon Construction Company, yellow number 20. Only other leader in 6 laps has been Kurt Brainerd with the number 96 car, the kart track machine.
The number 20 is Sean Tryon, our most improved driver last year. Basically looking this year to get some seat time, stay out of wrecks, take that information into this year. Now he's a leader. Could he win a race?
Tryon went to school and learned his craft from Todd Zegedy.
These cars down that backstretch near 100 miles an hour, you got to have your cool to keep it collected. A young guy like that out in front, you know he wants to go for it, but he's got to stay calm.
And there's Ted Christopher. He's outside of our camera car, Jay Miller, with the number 09. Miller to the bottom. Christopher, who had such an impressive weekend during the Spring Sizzler, winning both of the SK events. Our camera car makes contact with Christopher. It's up in the loose stuff, the top side of the racetrack, which is what they refer to as the marbles. There goes Sandberg. Another camera car, car 27, around Miller to pick up a spot.
That 09 of Jay Miller talks about the fact, number 1, he's second in points coming into this race. His dad told him, keep your cool, don't get cocky. But this guy, the thing that impressed him so much a couple weeks ago was that he beat TC. So anytime they can battle him and come out ahead, it's a big deal here.
It is, as Wainwright still reeling in on Chris Jones. There's Tryon still running strong at the point. Brainerd, who once was the leader of the event, consistently very strong, currently setting in second. As Tryon still in command, 11 laps in. The battle now becomes a battle for third.
You know that number 96 car, Kurt Brainerd, is hoping to have a good finish. As he was able to start out front, he wants to stay there. And that 09 still battling his way through the pack.
To the 39 machine of Chris Jones. And Civali will come together. Two red cars. James Civali with the number 29 machine. And the number 39 of Chris Jones will come together.
So we're under our first caution here in the SK Modified Division with 14 laps showing on the Stafford Motor Speedway scoreboard. This was for a problem down between turns 1 and 2. The machines involved were car number 29 of James Civali and car number 39. That's the 39 of Chris Jones. So it's Sean Tryon, your leader. Kurt Brainerd is second. Then it's Frank Wainwright and car number 79 of Kerry Malone, your top 4 cars.
An SK feature at Stafford Motor Speedway, but that car has, well, I remember one time Todd Zegedy climbed in that car and came from the last spot to win the feature. As there's some activity in pit road, Chuck Doherty and Scott Foster, a man who was a feature win to his credit, both are on pit road to get service on their race cars.
So Jimmy Thompson, we'll check in with him and find out exactly what's going on pit road. There's a red Pontiac Montana, Connecticut Reg BBG. Your lights are on. Once again, red Pontiac Montana with Connecticut Reg BBG. Your lights are on. We also want to make mention that Charlie Edwards was the honorary starter for this SK Modified feature event. 15 laps are shown on the board, and it's Sean Tryon with car number 20, your leader. And Matt, I don't know if you caught it, but Ted Christopher just needed some assistance from the tow truck. So problems with car number 13 is he was getting a push here on the front straightaway. So we'll have to check in and find out exactly what's going on with the Ted Christopher Mystique Motorsports Chevrolet.
Well, he usually pushes people out of his way. He doesn't get pushed, and he settles in right behind Brad Hightower in car number 9 as we have completed 15 laps in our SK Modified event. It's Sean Tryon. Looks like he has a pretty formidable race car. He's our leader. Kurt Brainerd in car number 96 is second. Frank Wainwright has been steady the entire race. Third, one notch ahead of Kerry Malone. Then the 97 of Rocco, Ronnie Silk. Good ride for him so far in 6th. Todd Owen in 7th. Eric Byrne in 8th. And Jimmy Thompson on pit road.
Well, thanks, Matt. Chuck Doherty was in. He was complaining that his car was very loose, so they put in some wedge, hoping to tighten him up. He's going to go back out now at the tail end of the field, but try to work his way through with as many laps here to go in this 50-lap feature.
Another tough situation, Gary, for Chuck Doherty. It seems something has gone wrong with that car almost every race this season, and had handling troubles early on in this one, but a lot of time for him to make a comeback.
Stafford Motor Speedway SK Modified contingency partners include CarQuest Auto Parts, Dillon Ford Sales and Service, Comfort Systems USA Hartford, and New England Racing Fuel Sunoco brand.
Alongside is Kurt Brainerd, but row number 2 is stacked up with some impressive contenders. Frank Wainwright, the Wiss Tablet 44, and the 79 of Kerry Malone. The Jack Malone excavating machine has emerged among the top 4 as they go back to green.
Frank Wainwright last week had his best finish of 9th. He wants to get out front now. Out front, is there no trouble there? You don't have to worry about wrecked race cars.
Tryon trying to hold off the opposition, but the inside lane will look racy. The Wiss Tablet machine washes up and takes over second. Car number 44, Wainwright is second. Look at the challenge for third.
Sean Tryon out front in that yellow number 20. You know he's got to be thinking, geez, I could win my first race because Scott Foster Jr. did it just a couple weeks ago.
Little further back, white car will emerge. That is Ronnie Silk, godson of Randy LaJoy. as Silk is stuck in the outside lane.
Ronnie Silk talking a lot about bad luck this year. Of course, he finished second in the points last year. He wants to turn his luck around. A win would certainly take care of that.
Directly behind Silk, who's getting crossed up, is Brad Hytella. Hytella got the best seat in the house to watch as we go to yellow. Turn 3, caution.
Well, problem up at turn number 3, the Kirk service machine. The Tony's Auto Body Chevrolet comes to rest against the Armco barrier. Track and safety workers on the scene checking on the number 99 machine of Kirk service. Well, Matt, so far in this SK Modified feature event with 20 laps showing, Sean Tryon has been very strong.
We've had 2 leaders. Kurt Brainerd was the leader in the opening laps, and then Sean Tryon, the man from Monterey, Massachusetts, taken over command. On that last restart, Frank Wainwright was a beneficiary with a nice bold move to the bottom of the track. The outside groove really didn't get up to speed, and that enabled Wainwright to move into second place. Wainwright was a little upset after warm-ups as he damaged the car a little bit, was not happy in the paddock before this race started, but he's a lot happier now because that car is really working well. Driver car number 44, Frank Wainwright.
Well, you know, as you can see, the fine folks from Haynes have brought many of their employees and customers to enjoy the Haynes 150 race here tonight at the Stafford Motor Speedway. They are all wearing a nice-looking Haynes racing hat with the number 50 Haynes Modified embroidered on the side. Many of you have asked us here in the booth how you can get one of those great-looking hats. Well, Haynes wants to let you know you can purchase one in the Stafford souvenir booth tonight, or you can get one free by purchasing $100 or more at Haynes location. So if you are buying mulch, topsoil, garden tools, pavers, concrete, or any other materials, call 1-866-GO-HAYNES to order and get a free racing hat with any purchase of $100 or more.
I asked that question myself, so I'm glad you answered it. As 22 laps into the race, a lot of activity on pit road. John Ledyard went in. Also, the 93 of Bissett, Sandberg, and the 27, Scott Foster, made a return engagement on the pit road, along with Todd Owen. To tell us of all the activity on pit road, let's check back in with Jimmy Thompson.
Well, thanks a lot. The 56 and the 93 are both on pit road. 27, John Sandberg, just left. They made an air pressure adjustment to both rear tires. He's on his way now to join the rest of the field.
John Sandberg, very hungry for a win. Thought he had one in the 2001 season, but was disqualified when the car was weighed and it was too light. And the win on that night was taken by Lloyd Engel.
Race fans, the stars and cars of the NASCAR Busch North Series return back here to the Stafford Motor Speedway on Friday night, June 20th, for the 13th annual CarQuest 150. Tickets are priced at $27.50 for adult general admission, $5 for children ages 6 through 14, and general admission and children ages 5 and under are admitted free. Reserved seating is available for $30. Order your tickets by calling the Speedway box office today. That's right, the stars and cars of the NASCAR Busch North Series will be back here at the Stafford Motor Speedway on June 20th.
I'd be anxious to see, Gary, if Martin Truex Jr. can dominate the way he did the first time the Busch cars were here, as he really looked awesome. It was a virtuoso performance by Truex Jr. So we will see what happens as we get ready to go back to green.
Already 2 different leaders. Kurt Brainerd, your early leader, off to a great start in this race, but Sean Tryon overcame him. He now is the leader, a guy who's never won a race, and Ben, he's pedaling it for all he's got.
Well, they are 3 laps to the halfway point of this event. The modifieds are about ready to go back to green. Up through the gears. Inside lane to the advantage. It's short-lived. Here comes Wainwright with Kurt Brainerd alongside. Tryon stands on the gas. Down the back straightaway. The inside lane looks racing. Here comes Kerry Malone. black number 79. Trouble now, we've got a scramble. Brad Hietala right in the middle of all of that, and he gets away. The caution comes out on lap number 25 at the halfway point in the event. And let's go back and take another look at it.
So the caution comes out on lap 25, midway through, and you know the phrase, Gary, sometimes you're the windshield and sometimes you're the bug. I guess that applies to Brad Hietala, because 2 weeks ago he was a winner of the SK Modified feature, but right now he is aiming that car into turn 4. He's at the end of the pack, and he was in the middle of that fracas in turn 4.
Yeah, tough break for Brad Hietala in the reliable Weldon and Speed Pontiac, car number 9.
You know, he said before the season he was really thinking that this would be his last year. He had an understudy, Todd Owen, in car number 90, and he was thinking of calling it quits. But he's had so much fun so far in 2003, being both a car owner and a driver and a teammate to Todd Owen, that he says he's going to be around for a long time to come. Right now he's going to be around the paddock area as he will follow Scott Foster in the 87 into the paddock. So that's our script right now, Gary. Our 2 winners in the last 2 weeks are the last 2 races, Scott Foster and Brad Hietala on pit row. And to tell us what's going on, let's go back to Jimmy.
Well, I'm standing right behind Brad Hietala. He just pulls into the pit. They're checking the right front tire, possibly the suspension. They have some wrenches working on it right now. They aren't going to any of the tires yet. No problems with air pressure. Looks like they're just checking it out, making sure it's okay. Nothing's rubbing against the tire. He's up and away, back out to racing.
What do you think, Gary? This guy has to be nerve-wracking for Sean Tryon. I'm sure he wants to see green flag racing and all these yellow. No rhythm to the race right now. And maybe it's a little nerve-wracking. That safety harness really has to be held tight now, because I'm sure there's a lot of jumping around, a little antsiness going on in car 20.
Laps now complete in this 50-lap event for the SK Modifieds. Sean Tryon still remains the leader on the inside of the front row with the yellow number 20. Great run for Frank Wainwright. He started 4th. He's been very aggressive, Kim. He currently sets on the outside. Kerry Malone is just as impressive, back in the 3rd spot with the Jack Malone Excavating number 79.
Frank Wainwright, you know, starting in 4th position, he was going to be a tough contender. Now he's got this young kid next to him. He's saying, maybe my experience can pay off. This is going to get interesting, Ben, on the restart.
It sure is. They go up through the gears. The spotters give them the go, go, go. And the outside lane becomes the one that goes the quickest. And Wainwright has emerged as the 3rd different leader of this event. Look at the battle for the 3rd spot. Malone down underneath Brader. And right there with him, moving into challenge, is a swarm of cars that will include Frank Rocco and Eric Burt with the number 54 car. Burt started in position number 13. There's Ronnie Silk, little bumper tag with Frank Rocco in the 97 car. And there's the point leader. The orange and white 57 of Emil Downey gets bounced around. He loses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions.
Ben, that's going to hurt. Basically, he got the point lead by consistently finishing up front, and now we see him drop back through the pack. This is where lessons are learned.
With 31 laps into the record book, Wainwright still remains your leader. Tryon still setting in a strong 2nd. Kerry Malone is 3rd, and from 13th to 4th, he's not done yet, is Eric Burns in the North End Auto Parts machine.
We have trouble. The 27 of Sandberg. Sparks are flying. Now he's fading back through the pack. Cars are dodging him everywhere.
The 56 of John Ledger. Flat left front tire, slows on the front straightaway. But Wainwright is starting to string it out. As a caution comes out, James Civali also spinning with car number 29.
So under caution once again in this SK Modified feature event with 33 laps showing on the board. Your leader, it is car number 44 of Frank Wainwright. Let's check in Down on pit road with Jimmy Thompson.
Standing outside John Sandberg's pit. Severe damage to that right front. The right tire's been pushed completely back about 90 degrees from where it normally runs. If the front of the rim's almost facing the tire, Sandberg could probably read the American Racer on it. The crew's still working on it. They're trying to get the suspension corrected. They're trying to get the axle corrected. They finally have the tire loose, but the axle might be too far bent to get this tire back on. They're going to try to put it on right now. It's taking 2 crew members to try to slide this thing on. Lugs might go on, but it actually looks like this tire might be able to go on, and Sandberg might be able to get back out if they can just get the sheet metal out from in front and the suspension link back up in the right front shock. Back up to you guys, seeing it from the rest of the wheels.
Well, I guess, Gary, if you can read the brand name on your tire when you're sitting in the driver's seat, it's not a very good thing.
Absolutely not. So under caution once again, 34 laps are now showing on the Stafford Motor Speedway scoreboard. Frank Wainwright with car number 44 is your leader. Sean Tryon currently runs second. Then it is the 79 of Kerry Malone. And then in the 4th position, it is car number 54 for Eric Byrne. And then you can see the Rocco machine there. Car number 97 back there in the 5th position. Let's check in on pit road.
Emil Downey's in, our points leader. The crew's actually using the air wrench to try to pry this tire away from the sheet metal. It looks like the Nerf bar's bent up a little bit in the front, shifted to the left. It looks like they're actually trying to take their front sheet metal off so they can get to the front of this tire and actually change it off and get everything straightened away so everything's running straight and clear so they can finish the rest of this race. Crew right now is telling Emil Downey to turn the wheel to the right so they can try and straighten this axle out and get the suspension and springs all set up. Back up to you guys.
Well, Emil Downey was one of the few drivers who finished in the top 10 in all 4 SK modified races, and it looks like that streak is ancient history now, as he is still marooned on pit road.
Well, get your pit stoppers out while we're under this caution. We will read off a number, so if you have this lucky number that I'm about to call, you have a $25 gift certificate good at any Haynes Masonry and Landscape Supply Store. Once again, a $25 gift certificate good at any Haynes Masonry and Landscape Supply Store. The number is 72833. 72833. If you have that lucky number, you have yourself a $25 gift certificate good at any Haynes Masonry and Landscape Supply Stores, and you can claim your gift certificate at the Speedway office. Once again, that number, 72833.
Remember, Bo Gunning took over the ride in car number 16, started the race in the scratch position, 31st. He has maneuvered his way up to the 13th position. So there's a man on the move. Bo Gunning, very rare not to see him in the top 20 in the point standings. Remember, he won the whole ball of wax last year, but good run for him in a car which he is unfamiliar with. But Bo is a veteran. It doesn't take him long to get up to speed. As Abel Downey in car number 57 goes back out onto the racetrack, but he'll be a few laps down as he rejoins his pals at the rear of the field. Frank Wainwright has been along since he's tasted victory. Wainwright has a different motor. He goes with Larry's motor, different than a lot of the drivers. Let's see what he does.
7 car. He is among the top 5 here. He's got a good run going from the 9th spot. But right now, we are about ready to go back up through the gears off turn number 4. Wainwright, an impressive run the inside lane. Tryon cuts it down low. Here comes Malone. They are 3 wide. Kim off turn 2.
Nice recovery for that yellow number 20 there. Caution is out on the speedway. He'll have time to think about that move once again.
We should point out that in order to keep the playing field even, the NASCAR officials watch the starts. They are a crucial factor here in making sure that it is even when they come and take the green. That one lane, the inside or the outside lane, does not have the advantage. And that's what we saw on that last restart. Trying to do it all over again. Picture perfect when they cross that white stripe. Wainwright skates through turns 1 and 2. Here comes Malone. And there's Byrne Kim.
these drivers know that they're running out of time. You see a lot of beating and banging going on out there. Just, hey, I'm here and I want to get up front as well. Frank Wainwright, that number 44 car, your leader, hasn't won here since 1993. It's been a while, and you know he's going to hang on for all he's got.
We should also point out that besides Byrne, there's the Rocco number 97, Ronnie Silk and Teddy Christopher. Silk's white number 83 and the black number 13 of Christopher have now emerged among the top 8. For Christopher, he has come from the back, and he's done it with style. We're back to yellow. In turn number 2, it is not a good night for Willie Hardy with the Arbitel Convenience Store number 2, and Kurt Brainerd, once the early leader of the event, the neon green and black number 96, the Kart Tracks machine.
So a problem in turn number 2. 2 machines getting collected up into the wall. Willie Hardy and Kurt Brainerd, as we are under caution once again with 41 laps showing on the board. Your leader, car number 79 of Kerry Malone.
Well, Kerry Malone, the last time he won at Stafford was on Fall Final Weekend in 2001. So it's been more than a year since he has given a speech on Victory Lane. And Kerry Malone, a second-generation driver, I'm sure you heard of his godfather, Gary, Pete Hamilton.
Oh, yes. Yes. Pete Hamilton, of course, had a lot of success in his auto racing career and just a tough break right now. Let's check in with Jimmy Thompson on pit road.
All right, guys. This is actually the piece that came off of Emil Downey's tie rod. This is what the small piece right here is what broke and actually cost him. It's actually definitely going to cost him his points lead here tonight. So it's this little piece right here. Might seem like a small part, but it's costing him a big blow in points here for our points leader for Stafford Speedway tonight.
Well, isn't that the case sometimes? The smallest part can cause you the biggest headache. And right now he might be looking for the aspirin bottle in the glove compartment because it's been a horror show tonight for Mr. Downey.
And speaking of headaches, someone's going to have a problem when they go out to their car tonight. A Ford pickup with Connecticut registration 40809C. Your lights are on. Once again, Ford pickup, Connecticut reg 40809C. Your lights are on.
So when they hit the stripe, we will have 7 laps in tonight's SK Modified feature. Kerry Malone has looked good on the restart so far, so we'll see if he has the advantage. We're on red-yellow, so the laps will not count. So we will have a red-yellow situation, 42 laps down, 8 to go, and we're headed for a finish because Kerry Malone is there. It is Frank Wainwright in second. Eric Burt, the Bulldog, a strong run for him in third. Frank Rocco's been kind of quiet. You haven't noticed him, Gary, but there he is in 4th place with 8 laps to go. Sean Tryon, who had the lead for a good portion of this race, riding along in the number 5 position. And you got to like the chances for the first 3 rows at least, is we're going to have a pretty exciting double file restart.
You know, getting back to Frank Rocco, back a few weeks ago, he had a podium finish with his machine, and he certainly has been very strong so far in 2003.
Kind of steady tonight. Hasn't taken people's breath away, but this is the way drivers who run for the championship want to be. Steady, consistent, and to be there on the finish. And Frank Wainwright has certainly given himself an opportunity to win this race, or at least nail down another podium finish. A man on the move in 7th place, 1 notch ahead of Jeff Corral, Ted Christopher. Remember, it looked like he had problems with that car earlier in the race, but what was ever ailing that car seemed to have righted itself as he is riding 7th. Ronnie Silk is 8th. Johnny Lobo trying for a top 10 finish at 9th, and by his side, Bo Gunning. So nobody's passed 4 cars tonight, Gary, than Mr. Gunning.
And you know, Matt, every 2003 NASCAR event at Stafford Motor Speedway can be heard live on worldwide on YahooBroadcast.com. Log on before, during, and after the race to experience Stafford Motor Speedway on the internet. For more information, visit SMS online at www.staffordspeedway.com.
Less than 8 laps remain in this event. Kerry Malone has now become the leader before we went to yellow here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Frank Wainwright sitting alongside Eric Burt and Frank Rocco. Rocco would have to be considered a surprise to some, but he has done very, very well this season, Kim, with car number 97.
It's been a good season. You know how he got started in racing? He was sponsoring a car. The driver didn't show up in 98, so he jumped in, and he's been racing ever since, now going to the front.
Wheel to wheel. Down into turn number 1. Trouble now. We've got them all crossed up, and right in the middle of all of that was Kerry Malone's number 79. Rocco was involved, the 13 of Ted Christopher. Will start to pull away. Ronnie Silk and Eric Burnt.
Well, under caution once again with 43 laps shown on the board, and Matt, a big pileup heading down into turn number 1.
Well, the complexion of the race really changed. This Kerry Malone in trouble with the front of the field, and about 5 cars got corralled in it, along with Ronnie Silk in car number 83. So Frank Wainwright in car number 44, he is our leader with 7 laps to go, and it looked like Johnny Lobo in car number 30 made it through the melee, and he is lined up in Rocco. The cars line up on the back straightaway, and Lobo right now has the number 2 position, although it's not official yet. And we have another red-yellow situation, so these laps will not count. And to sort things out, let's go downstairs to Jimmy Thompson.
Well, Jeff Malavi's pulled in the pit road. Left side tire. Looks like he might as well have a broken tie rod. He too can read the American racer facing him. Crew working frantically down here, smoke billowing out from the tire from where it was skidding, and it was pinched up during that wreck. Now they're going on to the right side of the car, working on the right side of the tire. I'll check back in when I find out more what's going on. Back up to you guys.
So Gary J. Miller, second in points at the start of the night, and right now he is riding along in 3rd place. That is unofficial, as it has not been posted yet on the scoreboard, but this could be something. Jay Miller, whose father, Ray, had so many great moments here at Stafford Speedway, I'd say he's about 7 laps away from taking over the point lead if he can maintain his 3rd place status.
Yeah, so far in 2003, Jay Miller has been right up front. Currently now has a very strong race car here this evening. Here's another special offer from Haynes Materials. 3 cubic foot bag to mulch. 3 bags for $10 available at the Haynes Masonry and Landscape Supply stores in Oxford and Southbury, Connecticut. Call 1-866-GO-HAYNES, and remember, you get a free Haynes Racing hat with all purchases over $100.
Well, Kim Hart was talking about Jay Miller, how he had a little conference with his father, Ray, before the race. And Ray told him, don't get too cocky, be consistent. And that's pretty good advice, because Ray Miller was that kind of driver. Maybe not the most flamboyant at the Speedway, but very professional. And apparently he's been able to pass some of that wisdom along to Jason Miller, who right now on the racetrack is in 3rd position, 1 notch ahead of Sean Tryon, our leader, Frank Wainwright. And could be quite a story. Mr. Wainwright looked like he didn't almost make it through warm-ups. As he hit the wall in warm-ups, he was pretty angry in the paddock, but maybe he's taken out his anger on his race car, because he's driven a masterful race.
And you can see car number 13 of Ted Christopher with car number 13. He just made a pit stop for the Mystique Motorsports Chevrolet. Down and away. He'll rejoin at the rear of the field. All right, now we're going to show you in a replay exactly what happened going down into turn number 1.
And it looked like a capacity crowd into that first turn.
Yeah, a bunch of cars slicing and dicing there, and you can see the end result as we are under caution with 43 laps showing on the board. Your leader, car number 44 of Frank Wainwright. Ted Christopher with car number 13.
And the man who was leading, Kerry Malone, is into pit road, and another customer on pit road, car number 16, Bo Gunning, and apparently the bad luck that is pestered Gunning all season long in car number 12 followed him tonight in car number 16. So it doesn't matter what Bo has been behind the wheel of this year. He's had a difficult time.
Right now, Ted Christopher, as I just mentioned a moment ago, you can see he's coming back down on the pit road with the Mystique Motorsports Chevrolet to the attention of his crew. Jimmy Thompson down there working pit road this evening. I'm sure he'll be checking in with the crew and finding out exactly what is going on with the Ted Christopher machine and what kind of damage they have on the Mystique Motorsports Chevrolet.
Well, we see the field has been sorted out, and the driver currently in the number 4 spot, Larry Ross. Larry, one of the veterans, has been in this division since it started in 1982, and he said there's one thing he wants more than anything, a victory. He's never won in 21 seasons, but he's got a good shot at that tonight, sitting in 4th place with 7 laps to go.
And race fans, the balloting for the Stafford Motor Speedway Most Popular Driver Award is underway. The Most Popular Driver Award is determined by you, the fans. Entering tonight, Bo Gunning leads Todd Owen and Eric Byrne by 15 votes. Chuck Zentarski leads Mike Quintiliano and Scott Cook by 12 votes. And Peter Bourquette leads Stacy Botticello and Jim Sullivan by 10 votes. Officials' Most Popular Driver ballots can be found on the last page of the Pit Stopper magazine, which is now on sale throughout the Speedway. Let's check in with Jimmy Thompson.
All right, Jeff Malave has just been brought behind pit wall. Some of the crew members say they might believe it's a trailer arm in the back of the car, and they're going to take it behind the wall and take a look at it and try to straighten out the back end. But they're not too happy right now. Malave actually pulled away, went away about 2-3 pit stalls, and just put it in reverse and came right back down pit road, put it right in the stall and said, we got to bring it behind the wall. So tough night for Jeff Malave. His crew has a lot of work left.
Well, the man who has the most work to do will be Frank Wainwright, as he has the top spot. And now it is Tryon in 2nd. 3rd goes to Johnny Lobo. 4th is Larry Ross. Jay Miller has been scored in 5th. Chris Jones is 6th. Mike Holdridge, who ran so well 2 weeks ago, he has the number 7 position. So it'll be quite a restart. Frank Wainwright in car number 44, the Whisk-sponsored race car. Gary, the bottom group has been faster so far on restarts. And now let's go for an update on pit road and back to Jimmy.
All right, down here with Jeff Burrell. Jeff, surveying the damage to his 18 car, the ECI Pontiac. How are you feeling right now, Jeff?
Pretty frustrated. I mean, this is getting, this is almost like last year. I mean, it don't matter how fast you are and how far up front you are when those guys don't pay attention to what the hell they're doing out there. I mean, to wreck a car like this 2 weeks in a row is just ridiculous.
All right, tough break for Jeff Burrell. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Let's go back to Ben Dodge.
Big condition for that first victory.
Now, we said Frank Wainwright hasn't had a win here since 1993. Sean Tryon, never a win here. We talked earlier in the show about the weather and what effect that would have, and these guys not being able to get a rhythm. Obviously, tonight, no one's got a rhythm, but I do think Sean Tryon's consistently been right there up front looking for this win. You got to give credit to the young kid.
You sure do. And look at the second row. Johnny Lobo, the number 30, has snuck in there. And to the outside is the number 23 of Larry Ross, the Global Aviation Machine. 43 laps are complete. Of the 50 as they head into turn number 1. Wainwright trying to hold on. He's dancing with a partner, and that partner is Sean Tryon.
Sean Tryon, they are wheel to wheel. Frank Wainwright gets the lead back up front. Things wiggling and going on. Maybe there's some damage there from that wreck.
You can tell the car is not as strong as it was, but it is the leader. Perhaps he's running on pure adrenaline here, but he is the man at the point. Lobo now applies some pressure. We've got another caution down the back straightaway. The 78 of Chuck Doherty.
Well, caution coming out once again with 45 laps showing on the board. Trouble on the back straightaway, and the cars that were involved were car number 41 for Chris Granowski and car number 78 of Chuck Doherty. Safety crew right on the scene right away, checking on those drivers. And map problems once again.
Boy, there's been no rhythm to about the last 20 laps. It's been littered with yellow flags. And Frank Wainwright, what an interesting story here is he's got a bruised race car and it damaged goods, but fast goods. Sean Tryon alongside. Then it's Lobo. Johnny Lobo came very close to a victory a year ago. Got nosed out at the end, and there's a very hungry driver. Took Johnny Lobo a little bit of a while to get adapted to open wheel cars and Stafford Speedway. He came from a pro stock background at Riverside Park Speedway, and took him a while to get up to speed. But the last year and a half, he's been pretty impressive.
Absolutely. Johnny's been doing a great job with car number 30. And we're going to go to a red-yellow situation as your leader crosses the stripe. Frank Wainwright is your leader. Then it's Sean Tryon having a very, very, very strong run here this evening. And Johnny Lobo, we just mentioned him having a strong run as he currently runs in the third position. And then right behind him, car number 09 of Jay Miller.
Well, Sean Tryon could have a career night in that yellow number 20 car as we're on a red-yellow holding pattern as our safety crews are out in the middle of the backstretch taking care of that situation. Frank Wainwright, I think the word aerodynamics in that car has gone out the window as it looked like somebody took a sledgehammer to the back of that machine, but he still has the lead, and if he can nurse it through 5 more laps, he will win as Chuck Doherty goes behind the wall. And Doherty, another driver so far in 2003. In flashes, he's shown he's had a fast car, but he just can't put 50 good laps together, and tonight is another prime example.
And the Stafford Motor Speedway SK Modified contingency partners include CarQuest Auto Parts, Dillon Ford Sales and Service, Comfort Systems USA Hartford, and New England Racing Fuel Sunoco brand. Let's check in on pit road with Jimmy Thompson.
Well, bad news for Brad Hightower fans. His day is done. He has a broken spindle, so crew's packing it up. They're heading for home. They'll be back here next Friday night looking for more exciting racing action.
Well, 2 weeks ago, Brad sat in victory lane, and now he'll sit behind the wall, a victim of a broken spindle on lap number 45. He's got a lot of company. A lot of cars are damaged goods tonight, as there has been a lot of carnage in the first 45 laps. Even our leaders are damaged, as Stafford Motor Speedway would like to extend their prayers and best wishes to those serving our country, both home and abroad. SBC Mariah DeCarli, 143rd MP Company, HQ OPS, daughter of Stafford late model driver Roy Houle. Also Sergeant Mark McAuliffe, a big fan of the 78 SK Modified and 56 Bush North cars. Also Jim Marsh, Master Sergeant of the U.S. Air Force, and M. Scott Holcomb, a captain of the U.S. Army JAG Corps, serving in Kuwait for 2 consecutive years. And Captain Holcomb is the cousin of late model driver Dave Ray, who drives car number 42. Also, we'd like to wish our best to Sean Sullivan, Forces, Ron Reisig of the Armed Forces, and Nicole Shelberg. So our best goes out to those serving our country and taking care of us as we celebrate a dry weekend for a change, or at least a dry Friday night here at Stafford Speedway. Sure is great to come here without an umbrella or nothing but auto racing.
That's right. And as 45 laps are shown on the board, we are under caution once again here in our SK Modified division with car number 44 of Frank Wainwright, your leader. Then Sean Tryon currently running in the number 2 position. And then currently third, Johnny Lobo having a very strong run tonight. And right behind him, car number 09 of Jay Miller. Let's check in with Jimmy Thompson on pit road.
Well, points leader Emil Downey was back in once again. That wreck, he bent up his tire a little bit, and they actually had to change it because it was losing so much air pressure. So they just swapped it off and put it back on, and he's back out on the track.
You know, Abel Downey running for points, so he wants to stay out on the track and try to salvage as good a finish as he can and try to stay in contention for the championship as it looks like the 22 of Lloyd Agor is on pit road, and Lloyd has picked up some new sponsorship this year from Ferguson Electric, but so far that car hasn't had much energy tonight as it sits on pit road.
And Matt, here are the point standings coming into tonight's event. Emil Downey II leading the points over Jay Miller, Eddie Christopher, Brad Heitella, and Kerry Malone round out the top 5. 6th through 10th, Willie Hardy Jr., Eric Burnt, Mike Holdridge, Jeff Burrell, and Ronnie Sill.
So really, the only one of the top 10 who is really having a great night is Jay Miller in car number 09. So if he can keep that car near the front, he could have the point lead at Stafford Speedway for the first time in his career. So that's quite an accomplishment. He had such a frustrating year a year ago. He races at a lot of different places, but the script was always the same. Seen him run good for a few laps, then run into some kind of problem. But so far he has been consistent, and maybe he will be on the top rung of the points ladder before this night is over.
Haynes Materials, the complete material solution for both homeowners and contractors. 4 statewide aggregate quarries in Deep River, Oxford, Torrington, Naugatuck. 3 masonry and landscape supply stores in Oxford, Southbury, Deep River, and the ready mix concrete. See the beautiful mixer on display out here on the Midway. And of course, Haynes Materials, the proud sponsor of Todd Zegady's NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series machine. And they have sponsored Todd for 2 years in a row now. And owners Tom and Paul Haynes are the biggest supporters of racing and the number 50 Todd Zegedy racing team. And they attend all the races personally to show their support. Owners Tom and Paul Haynes are always ready to support the race fans with nights like tonight. Let's check back in on pit road with Jimmy Thompson.
Down here with Willie Hardy. Willie, first of all, how are you feeling?
I'm a little sore. I took a good whack on my left arm, but that's all right. That'll heal.
Can you tell us actually what happened? Did you see anything before you were hit? Or?
Yeah, I dove in underneath the 96. Thought I had him pretty clean there, and another veteran driver decided he wanted to go lower than me, I guess. Not complaining. Had a good car. That's racing. Next week we'll just have to do a little bit better.
Is the car salvageable? I mean, is it? You can still use it again next week?
Oh yeah, it's, my car owner's up there in the stands. It's not as bad as it looks, but it's just bad enough to keep us off the track tonight. Guys are doing an awesome job. This crew, I can't say enough about them. They work hard every week. If we could have got back out, these guys would have got me out. Can't say enough about the sponsors. Arbordale Convenience Stores, All American Auto Glass, Country Diner, just Capital Dodge. We've got all kinds of stuff on this car, but we'll be back next week contending for the win.
All right, thanks a lot. Willie Hardy, bruised but not discouraged down here behind pit road.
We remain under red-yellow with 45 laps on the scoreboard. Frank Wainwright, the back of that car looks like an accordion, but he still has a point lead, and Sean Tryon in second. That's uncharted territory for Mr. Tryon, riding along in the second position with Johnny Lobo in third, Jay Miller in fourth, Larry Ross hanging tough in fifth. Then it's Mike Holdridge, and Holdridge has really been consistent. He almost won 2 weeks ago in a race eventually won by Brad Heitella. And Heitella said after the race, if it wasn't for a restart, he doesn't know if he would have got around Mike Holdridge. So another top 10 performance for the driver of that car. And Gary, it shows you that some of these guys who weren't up in the front of the standings last year are really making their presence felt in 2003.
Absolutely. Mike Holdridge currently 8th in the point standings coming into tonight's event. 45 laps are on the board. Frank Wainwright, your leader. Currently second, it is Sean Tryon. Then in third, car number 30 of Johnny Lobo Jr. And then in fourth, car number 09 of Jay Miller.
So the cross flags means we are ready for a double file restart, the only way we ever restart a race at Stafford Speedway. The inside, Mr. Wainwright. On the outside, Sean Tryon, and the plot thickens here as we're about ready to get back up to speed.
The answer is this. It was involved in an altercation earlier. He's just been manhandling the race car, Kim, and Sean Tryon has learned his lessons well. He's going to be tough on the outside, but look at that second row. Johnny Lobo and the man that runs second in the points going into tonight's event, that's Jay Miller with one of our in-car cameras. He sets in the 4th spot, and Emil Downey is not having a good night here.
Talked to Jay Miller earlier in the pits. His dad, Ray, of course, raced here years ago. His dad has given some advice to him. He said if you hit your singles, your home run will come. He's starting to get in that position to do that. But out front, we've got Sean Tryon. Now, Sean Tryon, Kim, he's got a win in racing, but it's in the mini sprints out at Whip City Speedway. And his whole family's involved in the program. His dad's got the family construction business. And, you know, here's a guy on the verge of his first win if Wainwright can't hold him off in that evil car.
He's got a younger brother that would like to be sitting behind the wheel of that modified also, or maybe another one like it as part of a 2-car team. Let's see what's going to happen here as Frank Wainwright, 45 laps are now complete, 5 laps remaining in this event. It is Wainwright who's your leader. Sean Tryon in the outside of the front row. Second row, John Lobo Jr., another second-generation driver, teamed up with son of legendary Ray Miller, Jay Miller, in the 4th spot.
Johnny Lobo Jr., lately he said basically it's been luck that's been keeping him out of the wrecks, but the car handling's been a lot better, much more stable in the corner. That's why this guy's sitting up front right now.
It sure has, and Mike Holdridge has also emerged among the top 7 cars. He's had some good runs this season with the number 28 car. About ready to go back to green. They come off the turn. Look at the scramble for positions further back in the field. Lobo now tries to get a wheel under Tryon. Forced to back out of it. Here comes Holdridge. Yellow number 28 to the inside of your screen. Mike Holdridge has moved into the 4th spot as Wainwright brings them back to turn 1.
Things always get interesting in the last few laps here, Ben. We know we're going to finish under green. It's always green-white checkers here. These guys know if they're going to do it, they got to get moving now.
They sure do. James Civali is back in the top 5. Single file as they come into turn number 1. And Wainwright is guarding that position.
Frank Wainwright's got a new crew chief this year, Ricky Rotundo. They've been friends for a year. Ricky has moved over, obviously making a difference in their race program.
James Civali coming to the front. Look at Holdridge. He was sideways coming off turn number 4, but still held on. We've got a scramble further back in the field. Larry Ross with the number 23 cars involved. And the 93 of George Bissett, full-body Pro Stock driver. Those 2 competitors were battling just at the bottom of the top 10. Ross is heading back to the pits, flat left rear tire.
Larry,
Global Aviation car.
he comes into tonight's event 14th in the points. Larry's been having some pretty good runs. Luck not so good tonight.
Under caution once again here at the Stafford Speedway. We're probably off of turn number 4. Larry Ross and car number 23 and the 93 of George Bissett came together, and that's why we are under this caution.
And plenty of damage on car number 23, Larry Ross, to fill us in on some of the other activity. Let's go back downstairs to Jimmy.
Well, prior to that accident, there were a lot of cars getting bunched up right off that restart. Jay Miller seemed to be a little slow off the pace. Just talked to his crew chief. They believe it's the ignition. They know the engine misfiring a bit, and they want to focus it towards the ignition right now. But that's the reason they all got clumped up. And the rest of the cars, well, they just got together, and the rest is history. So I'll have to go investigating and see what else is going on pit road. But that's it for Jay Miller tonight.
Jay Miller dropped about 20 spots on that restart with the ignition problem. Did him in, so just as he was about to put his fingerprints on first place in the point standings, his ignition said otherwise. And he is out of commission as we get ready for a green-white checker, which means 2 laps to decide tonight's winner. It's been sloppy, Gary, but it's been exciting, and that was as good a move as you'll see by Sean Tryon. I mean, that looked like it came out of a highlight package as he just fossilized the 44 of Frank Wainwright.
Yeah, he just dove right down to the inside of the Wainwright machine and just overpowered him and took over the #1 spot, referring to Sean Tryon out of Monterey, Massachusetts, in the Richard Chevrolet entry. Stafford Motor Speedway state-of-the-art speedway safety signals are compliments of Wheelan Engineering of Chester, Connecticut. Visit Wheelan Engineering on the web at www.wheelan.com.
Not a very pleasant sight on the backstretch as Jay Miller's car is being dragged across by the wrecker, and another unpleasant sight. Larry Ross is back into pit road as he is a return customer. So let us set the scene. It is Sean Tryon, our winner, as we prepare for the green-white checker. On his outside is Frank Wainwright. Johnny Lobo, he is still to be heard from in car number 30. And Mike Holdridge, that is a very powerful race car, as he has moved all the way up to 4th. He started 17th tonight, so he has gotten by and through a lot of race cars. James Civali, he is at it up and down night, but currently he's on the upside.
So, Matt, the big question, can Sean Tryon hang on for the win here tonight at the Stafford Motor Speedway?
Well, there's an old cliche, you're only as good as your last restart. And he's got to get the jump on Frank Wainwright, because with a double file restart and 2 laps to go, there is no such thing as a sure thing. Tryon is really going to have to work for it, and he also has to be wary of the guys behind him. Johnny Lobo, Mike Holdridge, because of this double file situation, they are in striking distance.
And, man, I'll tell you who's been very strong. Don't count him out. Mike Holdridge out of Madison, Connecticut, the M&D Racing Chevrolet. He's looking very, very strong. So it's going to be a good one.
Second generation driver from Madison, Connecticut.
Pressure is on. This is the Boilermaker here, as Tryon has now reversed roles. He's on the inside. He is considered your leader on the restart. Wainwright alongside the Whist Tablets machine. Johnny Lobo and Mike Holdridge has moved into the 3rd spot with the yellow number 28.
Ben, no matter what happens here, it's going to be excitement in victory lane. You got potentially a first-time winner. You've got a guy who hasn't won in 10 years. You got a guy second generation and a guy who wants a Stafford trophy. They all want it in the top 4.
They come off, cross that stripe, and they are side by side and wheel to wheel. Tryon, dogfight battle on the bottom. Inch by inch he can. Will he be able to do it down at 3?
If he's ever going to do it, he's got to do it now. Frank Wainwright's got that car that's got some damage on it. Sean Tryon, that yellow number 20, goes out front.
Lobo is in there with Holdridge. James Civali is in there. Wainwright, different strategy here. The 2 will come in contact. Wainwright literally up, and Tryon goes over on his roof as Mike Holdridge comes to a screeching halt. Well, it's not over with till the song of success is sung in the winner's circle.
Well, what a development in turn 2 as Frank Wainwright's car is just suffocating that 20 car of Sean Tryon. Holdridge is in the mix. So of our top 4, 3 did not survive the second turn, and our leader should be car number 30 in Johnny Lobo. What a spectacular chain of events as Wainwright toppled over that 20 car of Tryon, and you talk about heartbreakers. Sean Tryon, he could almost start counting the squares on the checkered flag, and unfortunately he couldn't survive that second turn melee.
Big trouble in turn number 2 as we are under a red flag situation. Red flag situation, 50 laps show on the scoreboard. Let's check in on pit road with Jimmy Thompson.
Hey, one thing to note, Mike Holdridge in the 28 machine was able to pull away. There doesn't seem to be too substantial damage there. Possibly the back end has a little bit of a fender bender, but that's about it. It looks like it should be pretty good. We'll have to see what the crew says about it when he pulls down pit road, if he does, if there's anything more besides the superficial damage. But right now, he might be in the best shape if he's the leader coming out of this pack, and the other two are still stuck up there against the wall. So back up to you guys.
Well, Johnny Lobo has the upper hand in car number 30. Civali is second. Todd Owen, he was on pit road earlier tonight, and now he's in third place. And the 45 of Larsen is riding in the fourth spot. And Jim Larsen, I don't think we've called that name all night long. If you look on the scoreboard, he is in fourth place. It seems maybe the Surgeon General should put a caption on this one. Leading a race can be hazardous to your health, because the leaders have had problems. And now Johnny Lobo, who has never won an SK modified feature in Stafford, has the lead as we'll check back downstairs with Jimmy Thompson.
Just a positive note, Sean Tryon has climbed from his vehicle. He jumped off, and now he's being escorted down to the ambulance right now to get checked out, but he appears to be okay. So the good news right now for Sean Tryon.
Well, good news on the medical report is what a race he drove tonight. Sean Tryon in car number 20. And regardless of what happens, Gary, we'll remember that move that he made to take the lead. And it was just maybe a coming out party tonight for car number 20. What a great performance he put on this evening.
He certainly did. He certainly had a very, very strong race car. Referring to Sean Tryon out of Monterey, Mass. in the Richard Chevrolet entry. Once again, problems up in turn number 2. The Wainwright machine and Sean Tryon car coming together under a red flag situation with 50 laps shown on the board. Your leader, Johnny Lobo Jr. And I'll tell you, Matt, currently running in the number 2 position, car number 29 for James Civali out of Meriden, Connecticut, the Civali's front row auto repair Chevrolet. He's having a strong run here tonight as well. And of course, he started out in quarter midget racing over at the Silver City Quarter Midget Club, had a lot of success running Legends. Now, who knows, maybe he could pick up his first SK modified win here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
And he was involved in an altercation early in the race, and he has battled his way back. Quite an impressive story by Civali. And to tell us about another story, let's go back to Jimmy.
Well, more positive news. Frank Wainwright has walked away. He's walking to the ambulance as well, just like Sean Tryon, his competitor, did earlier. He seems a little frustrated as he's walking across and being escorted to the back of his ambulance now. But good news, despite 2 massively wrecked race cars that were probably the class of the field tonight, these 2 drivers are okay and they're getting into the ambulance on their own power and walking in. So that's the good news out of this part of turn 2. Back up to you guys.
Well, promising news for both Sean Tryon and Frank Wainwright, but their race cars won't be as fortunate, as that was a nasty mess in turn 2. 2 guys are hungry for a win, and sometimes that's what happens, racing incident.
Of course, those are 2 chassis dynamic race cars that were built right in Oxford, Connecticut. So Johnny Lobo with car number 30 trying to pick up a victory here tonight at the Stafford Motor Speedway in SK Modified Division. Johnny Lobo Jr. out of Southampton, Mass. driving the Smith Cast Iron Boilers machine. It looks like the boys up at Chassis Dynamics next week could be very, very busy.
Yeah, there won't be any time on the golf course for those guys. They'll be putting a lot of man hours in the shop. Johnny Lobo having the lead, came so close to a win a year ago and lost out at the end. His father is his crew chief, car owner. It's a family operation with car number 30. Seems to be a very convenient driver. He runs good on used tires, very adaptable to the situation, and he is in front, but we've learned one thing tonight, that anything can happen. I think it's already happened. There doesn't seem to be too many cars left. Maybe the cars behind the wall outnumber the ones on the racetrack.
Johnny Lobo Jr. started back in the 12th position. Civali started in the 10th position. And Matt, as you had mentioned a little bit earlier, that Civali was involved in a little skirmish the early stages.
I don't think there's any car left out on the track that doesn't have any battle scars on it.
Once again, track and safety workers continuing the cleanup process up in turn number 2 for a problem between Frank Wainwright in car number 44 and the 20 of Sean Tryon.
Gary, I'm anxious to get your thoughts on the Featherlight Modified Series race that will be coming up later tonight. Ted Christopher has won with 5 out of the last 6. Mike Stefanik has been the only man who's been able to stop him, but I'm looking at the starting lineup, and you have to look a ways down the list to see Mr. Christopher, don't you?
Yeah, you got to look way down. He's back there in the 25th position, but TC knows this racetrack, and he knows it well, and I'm certainly he's going to bring that car to the front. But I'll tell you, you look at the starting lineup. Of course, Johnny blew it with the Master Batista Contractors Pontiac. He will start right up on the pole. Then Donnie Leah will start second. Bo Gunning, Eric Beers, Todd Zegedy, Eddie Flemke, and Bouchard will start 7th. Tony Hirschman 8th, Devin George 9th, and Jerry Marquis rounds out your top 10. The top 10 qualifiers redrew for the starting position. So, of course, Johnny Blewett picked up the Bud pole.
Well, we have a Winston Cup Rookie of the Year in our top 10, Ted Bouchard. So, quite a field. Ted Zegedy there. Donnie Leah never had any luck in qualifying until this year. Kind of turned everything around. He stunned the people at the Thompson Icebreaker in the first race of the year, and there he is, at number 2 position to start this race.
And 6-time National Modified Champion Mike Stefanik will start back in the 17th position, driving the Lombardi Inside Out Chevrolet.
Ricky Fuller, a winner this year at Waterford Speedbowl. He will start in the 24th position, 1 spot ahead of Ted Christopher, so that should be interesting to pay attention to that at the front with Christopher and Fuller starting close apart. Fuller in the 12th row and Christopher in the 13th row, and those two guys are no stranger to each other. We're no stranger to Jimmy Thompson. He's back with another pit report.
Oh, thanks, Matt. You're so courteous. Bill Cody down here, member of Johnny Lobo's crew. 30 cars sitting out in the point right now. Has your driver been saying anything on the radio?
No, not much. Yeah, he just said the car's running really well, and I hope he kind of stays where he is. He's had a front view all night, and he kind of hopes he stays there.
So, do you guys normally get the chit chat during the radio? Does he say a lot, or is he normally pretty much a calm driver on the radio and just drives a race car?
No, the only time we communicate is when he needs something, and he lets me know, and I let the crew know, and that's about it.
All right. Well, here we are with Mr. Kobe down here in pit road. He's hoping that Johnny Lobo can bring home first place finish here tonight.
Well, it would be a heartwarming moment here at the Speedway as we are under red flag conditions because of a wreck in turn 2 involving the co-leaders, Sean Tryon and Frank Wainwright. So our safety crew still going to work doing repairs on the wall there, and that's the reason for our delay. And the man playing the waiting game at this time, Johnny Lobo in car number 30. He is our leader, sweating out this red flag condition.
And Matt, looking back at the starting lineup for the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series, Todd Zegedy will start back in the 5th position in the Haynes Materials Ford. Look for him to be very strong here later this evening.
Well, it was the Spring Sizzler last year when Todd Zegedy turned everybody's head. He only had like 4 races of experience in the division coming into last season, and he just blew everybody away. Won a big race at Richmond during the 2002 season, and
won Rookie of the Year honors as well.
And he knows this racetrack, because when I think of Todd Zegedy, the image that comes out of my mind, and I'm sure you remember this, he was the first driver and only driver in SK Modified history to win the 21v21 race, then start in the last row and come back and win the feature. So he knows the track. He's got a great race car, got a great team, and he's hungry for a win.
And I'll tell you, it doesn't matter what track they go to on the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series, Todd Zegedy certainly adapts to the racetrack very quickly. And, of course, the The Featherlight Modified Series will go to 2 new venues in the 2003 season, so everybody will kind of be on the same page there. But looking back, Eddie Flemke Jr., he'll start back in the 6th position. If you were here on Spring Sizzler weekend, we all know what happened on the back straightaway.
Yeah, nobody knows it better than Eddie Flemke and Ted Christopher, as people were talking about that incident for a long time. So I always thought Flemke and Ted Christopher, and you're well aware of this, there used to be quite a rivalry in high school sports. Playville and Southington used to play in football. They don't play anymore, and that rivalry is just about over. But it's reenacted here at the racetrack because you have Ted Christopher from Playville, Eddie Flemke from Southington, 2 border towns, and the people really don't like each other all that much sometimes. So you have that rivalry reenacted here on the racetrack. Eddie Flemke in car number 79, and Ted Christopher, of course, in the familiar number 13.
And you know, Matt, a tip of the cap to Jeff Malave out of Manchester, Connecticut in the Soundwood Home Chevrolet. He will start back in the 13th position a little bit later on this evening when the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series machines roll out onto the Speedway.
Jeff has said when he's been able to get that car into the show, it has been fast. So maybe a lot of fans are surprised that Malave is starting 13th, but I don't think Jeff is, because he said all along that car 17 is pretty solid.
And then looking down the starting lineup, Tommy Poles will start back in the 19th position in the Poles Motors Dodge. Jimmy Broderick, good qualifying run for him. He will start back in the 20th position in the Montanero Tobacco and Candy entry. Art Patel, also a sponsor on the Broderick machine. And then you look back in the 24th position, Rick Fuller, who won at the Waterford Speedway back a few weeks ago, the Auburn, Massachusetts driver, the 1993 National Modified Champion. He starts back in 24th in the Frasco Fuel Chevrolet.
A new race team this year for Rick Fuller, but it really didn't take him long to get up to speed. 3 races, and he was in the winner's circle. Rick was getting a little desperate. He went more than a year without a win, and he's not used to that. Ricky Fuller's had some great moments at Stafford Speedway. I think one of the best, the year he won the Spring Sizzler in 1999 with 2 laps to go. He was in 3rd place, and he was able to pull out a very exciting win on that occasion. So he's starting 24th out of 31 cars, but Ricky Fuller, one of those guys you can't take your eyes off of, because if you do, you might miss him do something exciting.
Well, coming up right after this SK Modified feature event, the late models will be rolling out onto the Speedway. Or actually, we've just been told that the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series will be coming up after the SK Modified feature event. Once again, the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series will be rolling out onto the Speedway after the conclusion of this SK Modified feature event.
I knew we were talking about these guys for a good reason, and that's why, because they're coming up next. We remain under red flag conditions, and now it's just turned to yellow, so these cars are going to get fired up, and apparently the track is in racing shape in turn 2, and Gary, it's hold your breath time at Stafford, because Johnny Lobo, I think this would be the biggest night in his racing career if he could hang on to a win. Winning at the big half mile at Stafford, I think it would be the biggest night in James Civali's racing career if he could win. I know it would be the biggest night in Todd Owen's racing career if he could win. And James Larsen, you could say the same thing for him. So whoever wins, it's going to be a Kodak moment in victory lane tonight.
Well, Todd Owen, no stranger to the Stafford Motor Speedway, had a lot of success in the Pro Stock division. So it should be interesting.
Said he went to buy parts one day for his race car, for his Pro Stock, and he happened to go to a Reliable Welding and Speed, and the owner there, Brad Hightower, talked him into driving on his race team and driving an SK Modified. So that turned out to be quite a shopping trip for Todd Owen. He wanted to buy some parts, and he wound up with an SK Modified, a Modified that currently is riding in 3rd place. So let's set our field. We are under yellow on lap 50, about ready to go back to racing. Our leader is Johnny Lobo in car number 30, with James Civali in car number 29 in 2nd. Todd Owen, car number 90, sits in third. In the fourth position, the man from East Heartland, and that is Jim Larsen. Remember, the modified Featherlight Series, the Haynes Connecticut Classic 150 will be next. So taking center stage will be NASCAR's fastest division, the Featherlight Modified Series. That will be immediately following the final 2 laps of this SK Modified feature. So Ted Christopher will be going for another win. We'll be able to see him coming up in just a few moments, but we have some unfinished business. Our drivers dispersing that speedy dry in turn 2, and pretty soon we will go back to speed. Kurt Brainerd, it's been a roller coaster ride for him. He is in 5th. Scott Foster, he's been a frequent visitor on pit road early in the race. He has made quite a recovery. He's in 6th. Chris Jones in 7th. Frank Rocco in 8th. Kerry Malone in 9th. Abel Downey is behind him. I don't know if he is on the lead lap, but that's where they stand on the racetrack. And Mike Holdridge is trying to move up through the pack as the cross flag means we are ready to settle the issue to see is going to win tonight's race. It hasn't been a very tidy race. A lot of yellow flags. We've had red flags. We've had just about everything, Gary, but we've also had some excitement, and we could have a happy memory for one of our drivers. 2 to go, and our safety crew still doing a little groundskeeping along the backstretch, and that's the reason for our delay.
And here are the winners from the Featherlight drawing for the modified series. The Featherlight decals, Amanda Bassett, Bob Davis. The Featherlight hat, James Barnett. And the Richie Evans commemorative plate goes to Jay Zakowinski.
That's pretty good.
So once again, the Richie Evans commemorative plate goes to Jay Nakaninsky. So congratulations to those winners.
And James Civali to the outside. Row number 2, Todd O, another talented young driver, and Larsen. Good start this time, Kim, down into 1.
Another green-white checker finish, so we know it's going to end under green. Now you've got your driver on the outside, Civali. He's a rookie, never won here, and you got the number 30, Johnny Lobo, never won here either. Either way, it's going to be good, and they're slicing and dicing.
Bonsai move to the bottom. Civali tried it quick on the outside. The 2 will touch. Lobo brings it back to the line. There's the white flag. No surrendering here in the battle for the lead.
50 years of racing in that Lobo family. His dad is his crew chief. You know he's there giving him advice. Can he pull it off?
Last time, this is where he made the move to the bottom. Lobo still holding on. Civali moving in for the kill. Down to the line they come. Checkered flag is out. Lobo's got himself the win. Civali in for second. Larsen in for third. And Todd Owen to finish among the top 4. Well, he has done it. John Lobo, the Smith Cast Iron Boilers machine, is going to be heading to CarQuest Victory Lane and take a look at what's happened after the checkered flag came out. He almost spun himself out.
Well, it's all said and done, Matt Buckler, and it was Johnny Lobo to pick up the win.
Well, I guess in order to win a race, you have to finish it. Not many people did, but Johnny Lobo, a great 2-lap duel with James Civali, and both those drivers should be very proud of the way they performed tonight. And this is going to be quite an emotional night in victory lane. Johnny Lobo is never won at Stafford. His last win was at a track that doesn't even exist anymore.
That's right.
Riverside Park Speedway. They said he couldn't drive on a half-mile track. He was just a quarter-mile bull ring type driver. Well, they can't say that anymore.
Well, Johnny Lobo started back in the 12th position. He got that car into the number 1 spot, and he'll be smiling from ear to ear, I'm sure.
Very personable man, a second-generation driver. Had relatives that come follow him wherever he goes. It's really a family affair, and they will have a lot to celebrate tonight.
I mean, congratulations to the top 3 drivers tonight. Johnny Lobo, James Civali, and how about a good strong run for the 45 machine of Jim Larsen?
I don't know for sure, but I think this is the best career feature ever for Jim Larsen, for Civali, and for Johnny Lobo. So it's a night of firsts here at the Stafford Speedway.
Once again, those Featherlight drawings, those names that we mentioned, you can pick up your winning items at the Featherlight display trailer down by the Turn 1 grandstand. Once again, Amanda Bassett, Bob Davis, James Barnett. Now let's go down with Jimmy Thompson, who's with our 3rd place finisher here tonight.
Well, Jim Larsen getting congratulations here for a 3rd place finish. You happy with that?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was a big shock. What a wreck fest. Some of the guys just go crazy out there. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Bobcat of Connecticut. I had some employees at work buy me some tires today. That's the difference. The car ran good. I was happy with where I was. I should have went for the win because I know I could have done it on the last lap.
Well, there's always next Friday now. Take us through those last few laps. Were somewhat hectic going through there. We had Wainwright and Tryon getting together. Tryon was upside down. Did you get to see any of that?
I saw all of it. That's the only reason why I was able to get through it.
Now, it seemed like everyone was a lot racier tonight. Why do you think that is?
I don't know, a week off, everybody's coming back, the track's fast, it's really free. Nobody gave anything tonight.
So you're going to go back and get more of those special tires, maybe special fuel, special chassis, whatever?
Hey, whatever it takes, everybody at work's going to step up, and hopefully we'll run good next week in a 100-lapper.
All right, congratulations, Jim Larsen, 3rd place here tonight in the main event. We'll head right on over to the 29, James Civali. James, congratulations on that 2nd place finish.
Thanks a lot. We've been working hard for this run, and we struggled tonight a little bit. We thought we were down in the back, and we just struggled our way to the front, and can't believe we actually made it to the front this far.
Now, you seem to be giving Lobo a bit of a run for his money there towards the end of the lap. How did you get there in the first place?
Man, I don't know. I was passing 3 wide on the bottom. I was just doing whatever I could do to get by cars and get back to the front, and I didn't know I was that far up to the front until those guys started wrecking. I was like, oh man, I'm in 2nd.
How did you make it through the big one there in turn 2?
I saw it happening. I saw they were dicing going into the turn, and I was going to go high, but I said, oh man, they're going to dice. So I started going low right when they started wrecking. I just barely made it through.
Jim Larsen said he had special tires on the car. Anything special about your ride here tonight?
No, it's been worked on by many guys. Scotty's been helping out a lot. My brother, my father, Jeremy. We've been just struggling, and we got the car pointed in the right direction. We're going for the front now.
All right, James Civali, strong 2nd place finish here tonight. We'll head right on over to the 1st place victory lane. Of course, they're going through, getting their trophies, getting their pictures taken as well-deserved. This crew was ecstatic those last few laps. Some of them seemed like they're a little nervous, and the other ones are jumping up and down. They're saying 4 years since we last won, 4 years. So this crew's definitely excited to see Johnny Lobo Jr. back in victory lane here at Stafford Speedway for his first time, but back in victory lane in his career.
We're going to do an interview first.
Now if we can sneak in with Johnny Lobo. Johnny, congratulations.
Jimmy, thank you very much.
Heck of a drive.
Exciting race.
Take us through those last few laps.
Best seat in the house. Got a bad restart on the first restart. The 29 got a jump on me. I didn't even go yet. We tried it again. We were down to the turn side by side. Bumped a little bit going in the turn. Went back to the outside. Alan, my spotter, told me, watch, protect the inside. 29 cut back down, I think, and inside. And we just clipped my back bumper, went down the back stretch. Back around, happened like that both of the last 2 green, white, checkered laps.
Now, how did you keep your composure? Because your crew at some points where they were jumping up and down, we had other crews who were jumping up and down during all the accidents. You were sitting there, seemed pretty calm up there at the point. Were you really that calm?
Yes and no. You got to make yourself calm. You know, I got a lot of lap time. They're calling me a young gun here, but I got a little bit of lap time experience. This is my first win in an SK modified. It was real good. I'd like to thank Haynes again, Smith Cast Iron Boilers, Advanced Auto. Had a great time.
What was so special about your car tonight? I mean, it ran so well. What was different from the other weeks?
Well, we've been struggling with horsepower. We got a good motor in the beginning of the year. It's been running real good. The car's really been handling since the beginning of the year. We probably didn't show it in the first 2 races. We had a fuel problem, but there hasn't been a good handling car out as good as this out here for a while. We actually, quite a few, but we were like a 5th place car. We ended up, they took themselves out. Another exciting race at Stafford every Friday night.
All right, thanks a lot. Johnny Lobo Jr., congratulations on his first feature win here at Jackery at Stafford Motor Speedway.
Well, once again, we'd like to congratulate Johnny Lobo, who picks up the win here tonight in the SK Modified feature event. James Civali was 2nd, Jim Larsen 3rd, Pat Owen 4th, Kurt Brainer rounded out your top 5. Then it was Chris Jones, Scott Foster Jr., Michael Holdridge 8th, Frank Rocco 9th, and Lloyd Agor rounded out the top 10.